The opinions expressed in the following paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJFK, CBS Radio, its employees, or sponsors. This is Minor Consulting Terp Talk, 60 minutes of Maryland Terrapins news and commentary, and your phone calls at 866-950-5225. Now from the CBS Radio studios in Baltimore, here are the hosts of Terp Talk, Bruce Posner and Wayne Viner.
Good morning, Terp Nation. This is Wayne. Sitting in today is Tish, our local Big Ten Buckeye. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Wayne?
Doing well. We got Alex Lee from the Terrapin Sports Report and the Rivals Network will be in this morning. In a little while after the first break, we'll have Mason talking lacrosse. And later today, Freddie from Boca talking about DC area sports, Nats, Orioles, the Wizards, the whole thing. But first, leading it off, Alex Lee, good morning.
How you doing, Wayne?
Doing okay. It's great to talk Terps with you. Usually I see you on press row and at football events. I'm going to start you off with still a big question around D.C. and Baltimore. What's going on with the Maryland basketball program these days?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy at this point. We're kind of in limbo here with Charles Mitchell, so we'll wait to see what happens with him. They've had four guys transfer or, ask for their release in the last month. And, it's rocky times right now with the basketball program, so we'll see.
Yeah, it does seem to be a bit rocky and unsettled, but even before the departures, there was talk of a guard from IUPUI named Ian Childs. Do you have any background on his game and where Maryland sits with him?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I know Tennessee and Auburn are kind of the competition there. I know he visited Auburn. I don't know if he got an offer. I think Tennessee might be kind of fading out of the picture. So Maryland's in good shape there, we think. And he, game-wise, he's essentially going to be what you had with Seth Allen. I know he had scored like 16 points a game last year. But again, like on 40% shooting, so it's kind of in line with Allen as more of a scoring guard than your natural point guard or per se. So I think he would be kind of like your directly looking to kind of replace the production Allen gave you in the type of game that he has.
But he's still not your traditional point guard?
Oh, no. So, I mean, I think he shot 14 times a game last year. I mean, granted, he was on a team that went 6-26, so maybe he needed to do that. But obviously, if he ends up at Maryland, he's going to be asked to take on a lesser role than that and kind of, fit in a little bit more with the team. So we'll see what goes on there.
It worries me a bit that we don't seem to be able to find a traditional point guard to run the show. Do you have any ideas, or is anybody giving you any background chatter on why Turgeon doesn't seem to go out and get a point guard's point guard?
I mean, you would think that he would want one, considering he was one. I mean, I thought Roddy Peters was a little bit more of that guy, but again, like you said, they seem to have had so many. You had Seth before. You have Mello coming in, who's kind of like that combo guard that can do both. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's contributed to it, just because the point guard slot is not always completely open, because there's always going to be one of the best players or one of the best scorers on the team that is handles that like half the time or whatever. So I don't know if that's contributing. I know kind of, I don't know if it's a backup plan, or I know a guy from Hawaii. I think his name's Keith Schamberger. Is one of has an offer from Maryland as a transfer. So he's more of a traditional point guard. So if they end up going that route, we should see kind of how that plays out.
Well, that's interesting, because a lot of people bring up that we don't get a lot of Maryland guys in. So I would figure if you couldn't get a guy from D.C. or Baltimore, I mean, what's closer than Hawaii? We can't even get on the continent now. But
right.
Hopefully the guy comes in and does well. On one of my business trips, I happened to end up in Hawaii and decided to try and find the furthest university in the United States from College Park, and I went out and checked out Hawaii Hilo, and I can't believe you actually get to go to college there. Yes, the very edge of the island of Hawaii, there's a university out there. that looks like a bunch of Quonset huts in the palm trees, but it was pretty cool.
What is the graduation rate? I can imagine kids not going to class.
You could, just because it's right on the beach, and it was great. If you have to go to school, that's not so bad. But it's a tough drive home from Hawaii for the weekend. So, speaking of driving home, you're a Philly guy, right?
I am. Yep.
So you're still Sixers?
I've only been in Baltimore for about a year now. So I was in Philly after college for 5 or 6 years. Worked at the Inquirer and Daily News for a couple of years up there, and then made it down this way last summer.
Well, we're happy to have you. I heard you had ties. Now I can't remember the guy's name. It was a big-time scorer for Florida. Yeah. My one of my best players. My high school basketball team was really good. I was he almost came to Maryland, actually. My buddy Matt Walsh that ended up having a pretty good career at Florida. And I know Gary recruited him. I know Gary was at one of our practices, or maybe two of them, I forget. But another one of my buddies that was on our team, you guys might remember, Lee Malchione from Duke. I don't know if I'm allowed to say Duke on this show, but maybe now, since we're headed to the Big Ten. Maybe. That was close. We almost had to hit the dump button over there. There's a couple four-letter words you can't use on the air, Alex, and that's one of them is Duke. Yeah, but now you got me to say it. Well, now I'm out. Tish, you have to take over.
Yeah, you got to dump it.
So, Matt Walsh came to College Park when Florida came down here. I think that was one of the first home losses Maryland had after winning about 100 non-conference games. So
I was there.
You were there. Well, we won't hold it against you, but I guess you played power forward or center?
I was like a 3 on that team. Like I said, we had a 7-footer, and those other guys I mentioned are both taller than me. So I'm 6'4", and I was like the 4th tallest guy in the starting lineup. So
wow, there were years when you would have been the 2nd tallest guy for Maryland at 6'4".
I was going to say I've said it all year that it's amazing because I stand next to Chuck, who I think they listed like 6'7" or 6'8" in the program or whatever, and he's just got an inch or two on me. So maybe I need a uniform. I think there's scholarships open now, isn't there?
There could be. But speaking of scholarships, Maryland football is over the limit. I hear they have 87 guys on scholarship, NCAA limit of 85. Now, Abner Logan, who played a lot on special teams, he wore number 46, a linebacker, and quite frankly, with the injuries, he played a lot last year. He got into some trouble in school, or did he do something wrong? Do you know the background on that one? But he's not going to play this football season. We don't know what happened. We just know in spring practice, towards the end, it was announced that he was, basically suspended for the team for indefinitely, I think was the word that Randy used. And there was kind of an assumption that he would be back, or he'd be fine for for training camp for preseason. But it now looks like he's going to be unavailable for the until April. As of right now, I think he can appeal it and maybe get a cut to half the season. But I think he started 4 games last year, so that's definitely something that that could look like a loss for the Terps. But like you said, I mean, they have that they're over the limit right now. So I don't know if that would put them down to 86. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that scholarship. Now, earlier in the week, Larry Mazak, who was a Maryland recruit a while ago, he went to junior college in, I can't remember where, but he was a junior college All-American. And now he was supposed to come back to Maryland, and he doesn't get into school. When did the football program find out about that?
Well, so we knew, because originally he was supposed to be here for the spring, be in College Park for the spring. So once that fell through, there was kind of no real update until this latest update. So, I mean, this is just kind of announced in the last week. So an offensive line that has kind of struggled the last couple of years, not really because of injury like some of the other parts of the team, but they definitely could have used another guy in the mix, especially one. They've got some good freshmen coming in, but especially one with some with some experience that could have maybe stepped in right away and helped or provided some frontline depth there.
Well, offensive line just needed some, that's getting too specific, just needed some bigger guys. That is one group that didn't suffer significant injuries over the past couple of years. And we had a couple big recruits coming in, including Derwin Gray, who looks like he might get some run right off the bat as a freshman. But it's going to be interesting to see if we can move the ball against our Big Ten opponents coming up. What are your thoughts on this Big Ten football schedule? To me, and sitting next to a Big Ten person, to me it seems like we're playing the Hall of Fame next year. What do you think, Tish?
I do. I thought I'm a little surprised. I will say that when I saw the schedule, I'm a little surprised at how they decided to start University of Maryland off. I think right with Michigan State.
No, that's the first BTN 8:00.
Oh,
game.
so that's the first game they're going to actually air.
I'll take that as some sort of unintentional dig. No, Maryland opens the Big Ten schedule at Indiana. And then the first big home game is Ohio State on October 4th.
Well, I know that one. I told you, I tell Posner, I don't think Maryland's going to do as bad as everybody thinks. I think if Edsel can just keep these kids healthy, everything should go, it shouldn't go that bad. I think me and you've had this conversation before. Big Ten does not have huge powerhouse, a whole lot of them. Let me say it that way. Not all 12 to 13 schools are huge powerhouses in football. Right. I think they should fare well against Indiana. Mm-hmm. Ohio State, of course, you're losing. I don't know what you guys want with that. And of course, that they're going to struggle a little bit with that team up north. But I'm interested to hear what our caller has to think, what our guest has to think about that, Alex.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely going to be a challenging schedule, and it's interesting with changing conferences with this football team, with all the injuries and everything like that. If there's a harder situation to predict in terms of how it'll kind of translate with this team this year, I don't know it, because you have to think eventually that the injuries are going to stop, that this team's going to kind of, the snake bite is going to end eventually, and maybe it's this year. I mean, they'll definitely get more exposure than they ever have, for sure, especially with that Michigan State primetime game.
So, Alex, let's imagine a perfect world here. Let's say if Edsel can keep everyone healthy, nothing goes wrong, keeps all the pieces in place. How do you think, or what do you predict they would do in the Big Ten against schools like the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Iowa? I mean, Iowa's defense usually tends to be good, but just against those schools, how do you think they'll fare if everything is put in place?
Yeah, I mean, perfect world scenario would be them going 500 in the Big Ten. I mean, Big Ten's a great conference, but their schedule, if you look at it, is very tough. And I think if everything clicks, they'll beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and maybe steal one or two from teams they're not supposed to beat. And that would kind of be the best case scenario, I think, for year one at least.
Well, that's pretty much what I'm thinking, is sort of replicate what they did in the ACC. It's been noted that Maryland has much more speed, especially at wide receiver, and the defense isn't so bad, but we'll see what happens with that. I saw a picture tweeted out by the grounds crew that the Big Ten emblem is on the football field. Have you actually seen that?
I saw the same picture you did, so I haven't seen it with my own two eyes, so I can't tell you definitively that it's there, but I feel like that was, in the Twitter sphere, that was something that was being waited for months as we were at the spring game and walking by, on the way to spring practice and stuff, and it was never there, but looks like it is now.
Well, I walked across the field the other day with Bruce. I went out to about the 25-yard line. I stood there and I said, "Do you see anything missing?" And he looked at me as though I meant like my head or something was missing. I said, "Look down. The ACC logo was gone a couple weeks ago." So I actually wanted to figure out when that was going to disappear. I wanted to come out and see it disappear because I've been an ACC guy for a long time. And maybe we can get over to Comcast Center and have some sort of vigil as they varnish over that ACC logo that's inside the free throw circle. Do you know when that's when they are going to redo the floors yet?
I have not heard on that, no.
Well, hopefully we can get a ringside seat for that one.
Need some sort of ceremonial process there.
Do you have any background on Dexter McDougal, and were there any celebrations around College Park as Dexter McDougal, Maryland's sort of star cornerback, although he got hurt in the UConn game and didn't come back, gets drafted by the Jets? Yeah, he got drafted by the Jets last night in the 3rd round, and I mean, I've not heard any celebratory stories from Dexter yet. But I have to imagine they're out there because I think a lot of the grades I saw him were 5th or 6th round, and for him to get selected on the 2nd day with the Jets, I mean, they must think that he's going to be a contributor right away, or maybe an eventual starter. Well, I would hope so. He is just one of the favorites for me, and I had a lot of confidence in him out there playing corner, and I think that was really the beginning of the turn for Maryland being a 4-0 team, having a little bit of the shine come off last year is when he got hurt, because he took a lot of guys one-on-one and let Coach Stewart blitz at will because you knew Dexter McDougal had that guy covered. Anyhow, Alex, I thank you for being on Terp Talk. I hope we get to do this again sometime. So I'll let you get back to your Saturday morning routine. Definitely. Thanks, Wayne, and I appreciate it anytime. All righty. This is Wayne Viner for Bruce Posner and for Tish, our Big Ten Buckeye. You are listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk on CBS Sports Radio 1580 in the nation's capital.
We are pleased to welcome Kelly & Associates Insurance Group to the Terp Talk family. For more than 35 years, Kelly & Associates Insurance Group has been known as the region's premier group insurance administrator, broker, and consultant specializing in healthcare. Kelly is also able to provide your organization with an integrated payroll solution through KTBS Payroll. The leader in benefits is now the leader in payroll too. To learn more about how Kelly and KTBS Payroll can provide your organization with a total benefits solution, contact them today at 800-972-7227. Kelly, one of the most trusted names in benefits, now offers payroll. KTBS Payroll provides a payroll solution that utilizes their innovative technology for greater accuracy, administrative efficiency, and compliance with regulatory requirements, such as the new Patient Protection and Affordable Care Acts. KTBS Payroll features management tools, reports, and services that relieve you of the details while giving you better control, ensuring you remain in compliance. Call KTBS today at 888-882-1487 to learn more about their integrated solution for payroll and benefits through KTBS Payroll. Listen up. If you want crabs, you have to head to the Costas Inn on North Point Boulevard. There is no comparison in all of Maryland for the greatest crabs and crab cakes ever. Costas also serves unbelievable steamed shrimp, Greek salads, and steaks for lunch and dinner. Nick, Pete, and Costas Triantopoulos run the perfect restaurant to go with family and friends. Give Costas Inn a call at 410-477-1975 and tell them the Terp Talk guy sent you. Terp Talk is proud to welcome Glen Burnie Transmissions as a new sponsor. Located at 7166 Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie. For over 50 years, Glen Burnie Transmissions offers free towing from the D.C. area. Transmissions for all imports and domestics. Go to www.gbt-online.com for a quotation or call President Mark Schwartzman at 800-458-2661. That's 800-458-2661, Glen Burnie Transmissions.
Hi, I'm Johnny Holiday. I've seen a lot of great teams over the years, but not as good as the legal team at the Jacklish Law Group. Every single lawyer at the Jacklish Law Group is ranked in the top 1% of personal injury lawyers in the entire country, and we're honored yet again by Super Lawyers magazine. So if you've been injured in a truck, car, or train crash, get that great team working for you. Call the Jacklish Law Group 301-627-8700. Can't spell Jacklish? Try www.smallfirmbigdogs.com.
Viner Consulting helps you get the most out of your business technology. We develop a technology plan for your business. There is much more than the run-of-the-mill break and fix service you are probably used to getting from your local IT tech. This is a real plan to move you forward, to bring in the latest technology at the best prices, strong support services, and a vision to lay out where you want your company to be down the road. And best of all, the plan is free to your company. Let us come and help you build your future today. Viner Consulting is a proud Microsoft partner, a Lenovo partner, and an HP partner. Conveniently based in Rockville, we service the Baltimore, Washington area. You can reach us at 240-599-0140 or on the web at www.vinerconsulting.com.
Access Title Company, LLC, brings to you experience, relationship, and peace of mind. All great reasons to choose Access Title Company as your residential and commercial real estate settlement company. Choosing a reputable, experienced title company is crucial to a smooth settlement process. Our staff of attorneys and experienced personnel is committed to helping you through the complete process with personal attention, competitive rates, and prompt service. Access Title Company goes anywhere in the state of Maryland to perform your settlement at no additional cost to you. That's why we're Access Title. Please call Melanie, our operations manager, at 410-363-8785 for additional information. That's Access Title Company at 410-363-8785.
You're listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk. Join the conversation at 866-950-5225. Once again, Bruce Posner and Wayne Viner.
Good morning. It's segment 2 of Terp Talk. This is Wayne Viner. Bruce is not in studio today, and we have Tish, our local Buckeye and Big Ten expert here. We're going to go right to Mason, who's ready, I think, to talk Maryland lacrosse, because I know Maryland's ready to play today, or at least I hope so. Cornell comes to town at 5 o'clock in College Park for the NCAA tournament. Mason, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine.
Good. Well, I think it's a good time to look forward because Maryland certainly doesn't want to look back at what happened when Cornell came in last year. But I know you looked back. What happened last time?
Rob Pennell totally crushed the Terrapins' defense, and Maryland lost 16-8 in the first round.
16-8. It wasn't even that close, was it?
No.
Boy, I was out there with Bruce, and I kept hoping Maryland was going to wake up. This is last year. And then I notice, as I'm walking past the lacrosse store, Rob Pennell, who was Cornell's big star last year, is the poster child for Brine. Now you got to see him play against the Bayhawks last week, didn't you?
Yeah. He was almost as good.
Almost as good, but he didn't score. I think it was 10 goals, which is something he got against Maryland. His running mate was Mock, who also now plays for the Bayhawks. You've seen a lot of Maryland lacrosse this year. Do you think the offense is going to get started in time to make the championship run?
Yes, but against some teams, the offense just hasn't been there, but I think it will today.
Do you think that's the fault of Maryland's offense, or do you think that some of the teams have figured out what Maryland's doing and has learned how to stop the Maryland attack?
I think definitely some teams have learned how to stop the Maryland attack, but Cornell hasn't played Maryland this year, so they might be in for a surprise of offense.
Well, I would hope so. How many goals a game does Cornell score on average this year?
13.
And what do they give up?
9.
All right. Well, if you look at a lot of Maryland scores, once they got the first couple games, Maryland scores 10 against Duke, 11 against Stony Brook, 12 against Villanova, 13 against Michigan, and so on. And then you get to recent times. Maryland wins against Navy with 12 goals, but right before that, they come up to a string where they have single-digit goals. I know you watch a lot of sports and you're into offense. What do you think the Terps have to do to get that offense going?
They have to shoot the ball a lot more. get the ball into people like Rambo's and Shannon Shark's hands and fire, because sometimes they're just not shooting enough to win.
Yeah, that does seem to be Maryland's style. They pass the ball around and pass the ball around, and especially the games where it doesn't go well, they end up with a turnover before they get a shot on goal. You mentioned something about Nico Amato and the 600 Club. What was that?
Nico Amato has reached 600 career saves and is now part of a club which is 600 or more saves in your college career.
Well, I don't think a lot of guys get to do that. One of the reasons Nico has so many saves is that he's been a 4-year starter for the Terps, and that also is something that's a little bit rare. Well, let's go over Maryland's seeding. They're seeded 7th. Cornell draws Maryland today at 5. There's some other big games that are Saturday games. One of them has our interest. Denver, 14-2, hosts North Carolina. You want to pick between Denver, who we don't get to see a lot, and Carolina, that we might have seen too much of?
Yeah, I'm going to pick Denver to go on, just because they're 14-2. They score a lot of what I've seen. Carolina's a very defensive team. Denver gets the face-off, so I think they'll take the game. Okay.
Penn plays Drexel, an all-Philly matchup, and that's probably I'm going to hit Tish with my trivia question. What's the name of Penn's home field?
Oh, I do not remember.
Is that Franklin Field, Mason?
I think I've been once.
No, I think I moved out of Franklin Field.
The Penn, oh, well, and I'm surprised, but pick them between the Drexel Dragons and the Penn Quakers. Who do you have?
I'm going for the Penn Quakers.
All right, so you got the seeds going. Then we get another, that was a Sunday game, I'm sorry. Another Saturday game. Notre Dame, 9-5 record. They win the ACC. They beat Maryland. They get Harvard. For me, Notre Dame's hard to figure out. Who do you have in that one?
I'm going for Harvard in the upset.
Ooh, can I get an ooh?
Ooh.
Thank you. Let's see. So I'm not going to go through all the games, guys, but you got Virginia and Hopkins, Sunday, 1 o'clock. The game's at UVA. UVA is the 8th seed, so who do you have between Hopkins and Virginia?
I got Hopkins because both of teams have played Maryland. I've watched both games. And Virginia's offense just stalls a lot. And I think Hopkins can get the game very high scoring.
Fair enough. Hopkins, another Big Ten school, just for lacrosse. They're joining up next year as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask Mason's opinion on that, actually. How do you think... I got a chance to actually talk to Coach Tillman one day, and I cracked a little joke with him about Hopkins. I said, well, welcome to the Big Ten. And then I said, oh, and I'm pretty sure welcome to the Big Ten for Hopkins, too. And he just kind of gave me a grunt, and he made a comment I don't want to mention, but didn't seem too happy about having to face Hopkins in the Big Ten, too, also. Mason, how do you feel Hopkins and Maryland will fare in the Big Ten, especially with lacrosse? I think they'll actually do very well. I think the men and the women at Maryland will do very well in lacrosse in the Big Ten. How do you feel about that?
I think it's good for the sport in general to have this now as an in-conference matchup. And Hopkins, it was a decision that they had to make because they needed a more set schedule. They were running out of teams to play.
They're running out of teams to beat. They're getting tired of beating the same people.
They played all top teams as an independent school.
No, that's true. Also, that Penn State Stadium is Beaver Stadium.
No, the Penn Stadium, not Penn State.
Oh, not Penn State?
Penn, in Philadelphia. It is wrong. Franklin Field.
It's Franklin?
Yep.
Okay.
The Eagles used to play there as well. I mean, Franklin Field, when Penn was bigger into sports, or they really de-emphasized football, that was the place to be in Philadelphia. And the Eagles beat the Giants there in 1960 to win the NFL championship. So it's a historic field that Mason and I might have trespassed onto just to get a look when Maryland was up at Penn playing basketball.
Say allegedly.
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 Sources close to me. So anyhow, getting back to the lacrosse, Maryland could play Syracuse in Hempstead, New York next week, and I'm sure If Bruce can get there, he'll be out there. Maryland really took care of Syracuse early this year. Syracuse all the way up to the 2 seed. You want to give us 15 seconds a preview on that? Then I got a couple of NFL draft questions and some Wizard stuff for you.
Yeah, because Maryland and Syracuse faced off earlier this year. Maryland won. And as Bruce talked about this game a lot earlier in the year, as the game was tied, Syracuse was sort of like a flip-flop. And then Maryland just goes like 1, 2, 3, and just knocks out Syracuse. So I think they can do that again.
Okay. Well, today's big game, Cornell at Maryland. I'm a little bit snake bit from last year, but I'm going to take the Terps today. Speaking of lacrosse, before we switch gears, Kathy Reese and Maryland's Torrington award-winning duo take on Penn in the women's side, 12 o'clock tomorrow. It's 12 o'clock Sunday at College Park. The number 1 ranked, number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, Terps. So if you need to watch a little lacrosse, you can do the doubleheader this weekend. Cornell and Maryland on the men's side, 5 o'clock tonight. Penn comes to College Park to play the women Terps tomorrow. All right, Mason, you've been watching the Wizards all year. What do you think about last night?
The Wizards just couldn't make a shot the whole game.
And that'll do it for that one. That's it. That's what it came down to. Redskins draft yesterday. You happy with Trent Murphy, Morgan Moses, and Spencer Long?
I think they got what they needed, and 2 offensive linemen and a linebacker.
Well, what are they going to do with another linebacker? They just got Kerrigan on a 5th year, paying him millions. They've paid $10 or $12 million to keep Arakpo. Why would you go out and get another pass rushing linebacker?
Every year, one of them gets hurt. Now you got to fill in.
Okay, I'll take it. That's good enough. Tish, do you think Johnny Football should have gone the Cowboys?
No. I didn't want to see him fail against the Redskins, crush the Redskins. I'm not sure what he was going to do. I think it's good to keep him out of the Redskins division.
I don't really think that he's going to be an issue. Did anybody else see the report that somehow the Patriots leaked out about how they graded Johnny Football?
No, I did not see. I'm interested to hear this.
I didn't hear about that either.
You didn't either. Well, the Patriots draft report got leaked out, and as they spent more time with Johnny Football, their opinion of him as a person fell off. It wasn't a skill thing. It's his attention to detail. They said he only went to about 60% of the meetings, and that their biggest issue would be getting him to practice, getting him to pay attention.
You know what's funny about that? Really quick, because I think we're about to run up to a break. Really quick. Gruden asked this Johnny Football the same thing. What do you want to tell people who think you're a Hollywood quarterback, who they think your off the field issues are going to affect your on the field issues? And, of course, he kind of danced through it and said, oh, no, it's about football and did it, whatever. And I sat back and I said, I don't think he realizes it's going to play a big factor. If I remember yesterday, the Patriots drafted a kid from Eastern Illinois, a quarterback from Eastern Illinois in the 2nd round.
Right. They drafted Janine Garofalo.
Thank you. Yeah. So, no, it's not.
What's the guy's name?
Wayne, you're getting me.
I'm pretty sure it's Jimmy.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think off the field issues did Johnny Football in yesterday and the day before yesterday. Okay. I think they did them in.
All right. Well, Mason, thank you for checking in. Go Terps. We'll talk to you next week. Mason will be in studio. You are listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk. This is Wayne Viner for Bruce Posner and our Buckeye Tish. You're listening to CBS Sports Radio 1580 in the nation's capital.
We are pleased to welcome Kelly & Associates Insurance Group to the TerpTalk family. For more than 35 years, Kelly & Associates Insurance Group has been known as the region's premier group insurance administrator, broker, and consultant specializing in healthcare. Kelly is also able to provide your organization with an integrated payroll solution through KTBS Payroll. The leader in benefits is now the leader in payroll too. To learn more about how Kelly and KTBS Payroll can provide your organization with a total benefits solution, contact them today at 800-972-7227. Kelly, one of the most trusted names in benefits, now offers payroll. KTBS Payroll provides a payroll solution that utilizes their innovative technology for greater accuracy, administrative efficiency, and compliance with regulatory requirements, such as the new Patient Protection and Affordable Care Acts. KTBS Payroll features management tools, reports, and services that relieve you of the details while giving you better control, ensuring you remain in compliance. Call KTBS today at 888-882-1487 to learn more about their integrated solution for payroll and benefits through KTBS Payroll. Terp Talk is proud to welcome Glen Burnie Transmissions as a new sponsor. Located at 7166 Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie. For over 50 years, Glen Burnie Transmissions offers free towing from the D.C. area. Transmissions for all imports and domestics. Go to www.gbt-online.com for a quotation or call President Mark Schwartzman at 800-458-2661. That's 800-458-2661, Glen Burnie Transmissions. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes is touching millions of lives, one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been helping coaches and athletes on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels to fulfill their God-given potential. FCA is the largest Christian sports organization in America and focuses on serving local communities by equipping, empowering, and encouraging people to make a difference. To learn more about the FCA in your area, call Mark Stevens at 301-363-8611 or visit their website, metromdfca.org. Are you looking for great seats? You want to see the Terps play Duke or Carolina? Want Oriole Yankee tickets? NASCAR, Van Halen? You name it. GreatSeats.com has them. Nothing beats having great seats, and you can find them by calling 800-853-SEAT or check out Great Seats ticket inventory at www.greatseats.com. Call 800-853-SEAT. Tell them the Terp Talk guy sent you.
Have you been injured in a car accident, by medical error, while on the job, or because of the fault of another? Are your medical payments and paperwork piling up, or are you out of work and losing wages that you can't afford to lose, all because someone else was negligent? If so, get the representation and individual attention you deserve from the law firm of Grant Posner, 443-388-4777, or go to BeMoreLaw.com for your free consultation.
I'm Grant Posner. I began this firm with the belief that all clients should get the individual attention that they deserve. When you call my office, you deserve to speak directly to an attorney. Call today at 443-388-4777 or visit BeMoreLaw.com and schedule your free consultation with an attorney today. Get the individual attention and experience you deserve for all of your injury, traffic, or criminal legal needs. And don't forget, for personal injury cases, there are no legal fees or expenses unless we win. Call today, 443-388-4777 or BeMoreLaw.com.
You're listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk. Join the conversation at 866-950-5225. Once again, Bruce Posner and Wayne Viner.
Good morning. It's segment 3 of Terp Talk here in Terpland. This is Wayne Viner. Bruce is away from the studio this morning. And Tish, our Big Ten Buckeyes, sitting in. So have you visited you ran track for Ohio State. So you've been to all these big stadiums?
Majority of them, yes. The only one I have not been to is Nebraska because I think they got added my senior year, but Big Ten has a set schedule, as you guys see now, of when they do championships. I love all the facilities in the Big Ten. I'm a little biased here, but I love all the facilities except for one, that school up north. They get no compliments from me.
I'm not sure if you're talking about the unmentionable Penitentiary State University, or was it Michigan State?
You know what? Penn State will get the words out my mouth. The other one, I can't even bear to, my blood boils when I have to mention that school. But they still do have nice facilities, and they have a nice athletic program over there.
That's the blue one or the green one?
It's the blue. Michigan State is now added. They are added to the Ohio State list. But we will cheer for them when they are going up against a school who has beat us or anybody outside the conference.
Okay, that's fair enough. But far, far outside the conference, down in sunny Boca land, we bring in Freddie from Boca. And, well, there's Freddie from Boca.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Terp Talk, Freddie. Freddie, tell me.
Thank you very much for welcoming me to Terp Talk.
So, the Orioles go to Tampa. And in the Dennis Stadium, I think the only indoor stadium still in baseball, they win 3 games, shock the heck out of me, and come back and win again last night. What's going on with our Orioles?
Well, they're winning close games. They're 8-3 in one-run games, which was a sore point last year and the year before. And the year before, when they made the playoffs, they were probably the best team in baseball. But pitching is settling in a little bit. Timely hitting, they're not crushing the ball, but they're getting very timely hitting, particularly from the bottom end of the order, and they find themselves in first place.
Well, that's a good place to find them right now. Pierce playing first base. They actually, I thought, had sent him down for a couple weeks.
Well, he was completely off the team. He was a free agent. He was claimed by, I think, Colorado and chose not to report there, and the Orioles picked him back up when Davis went on the DL. And he's done very, very well in the field, and he's hit a couple home runs the last couple of nights and getting some timely hits.
Yeah, I heard from Dan Conley, the son, that Davis was back in the cage yesterday, and he was just ripping the cover off the ball in batting practice. When's he come off the DL?
He'll probably go for a couple of rehab games in the next couple of days and can conceivably be back in the lineup middle of next week or the end of next week.
So what do you do with Pierce at that point?
Well, my guess, there's a couple of solutions. Right now with Matt Weeder still going back and forth, maybe between catcher and DH, that you could probably have to keep Caleb Joseph on the roster. Delman Young seems to be the odd man out because Todd Cruz.
Nelson
Cruz, Todd's son,
right,
has the ability to play some outfield a little bit better than Delman Young, and Pierce can play outfield and obviously playing first base pretty well as in case they need Davis a day off or so with just to make sure about his injury or put him and make him a DH for a day.
Right. So those who are a little younger, I believe that Todd Cruz was the third baseman the Orioles picked up in 1983.
That's
to
correct.
play
and
defense.
He was on the last World Championship team the Orioles had.
Right. Guy couldn't hit a lick, but my goodness, he could throw that glove around. Speaking of guys,
good arm, good defensive ball player, and just got out of Cal Ripken's way on the left side and got a ring.
Right. And on the left side, back is Manny Machado. In my notes for the next show, The Sports Maven, for those who want to listen on 1300 in Baltimore at 9 o'clock, and you listen on TerpTalk.com. He hits a home run, but in my notes it's saying, when is he going to get a hit again? So he sort of woke up. How long do you think it's going to take him to catch on the hitting side?
Oh, I think he'll be fine in the next. He's been hitting the ball pretty hard, just a lot of like atom balls, but not long at all. The disturbing thing, so to speak, he's had 3 errors in 8 games, which is probably 2 more than he had last year, it seems. But he'll be fine.
So down in Florida, is anybody excited that the Marlins seem to be creeping up the National League East standings?
Are they still playing in Florida? No, there's really it's lukewarm interest. Their crowds are around 18,000-20,000. Terrific team. They actually got blown away last night by San Diego, and their best Fernandez, who might be the best pitcher in baseball right now, had a tough game. They gave up 6 runs in the 6th, but they are playing exceptional ball, and it's a pretty good race there with the Nats and Atlanta and Miami.
Well, I thought that the Braves were going to pull away with it, and then suddenly the Nats, who seem to have an easier schedule than some, right back in the mix. Although they lost last night, but they're
only a half a game out. So, I mean, nobody's running away with any divisions right now. It's I think Milwaukee and Detroit have probably the best records, and the Orioles on that would be no more than 2.5 games behind, like the Giants or Detroit. So, and I know the Nats, Strasburg, Zimmerman, Gio. When you have pitching like that, it's hard to imagine the Nats not being there at the end of the year.
The Nats have a problem winning big games. And they put Doug Fister on the mound last night. They got from Detroit. It's his first start. He lasts about 4 1/3, and the Nats lose to the Oakland A's. And that leaves, I believe that leaves Miami in first place. Something's amiss with the Nationals still. And you can say it's because Zimmerman's not playing, Harper's not playing. Ramos just came back, the catcher. But they haven't really had the projected starting lineup on the field all year. They get in these games with Atlanta, and they just can't win them. The tight games where you're looking for the mettle of the team to show up, and it just doesn't, time and again. So I'm not sure what's wrong there, but there's something not coming on. And the big race between Trout, Machado, and Harper to see who's the best in baseball. If you have Sports Illustrated on the cover, is Mike Trout this week.
He was down to 287 last time I checked on his hitting, so he's not tearing the cover off the ball. Is there what do the fans feel about the Williams being the manager replacing Davey Johnson?
I don't have a big Nats vibe. It's a change. Davey was leaving. Williams hasn't seemed to bring anything new yet. And the paper, still reading the Washington Post here, says that sometimes he seems a little inexperienced, but nothing really. They're not a team right now that evokes a lot of passion. They're not, to me, they're not the Orioles. They're not the Redskins. They're not even the Caps. They're just fun. People go watch the games. They wear the hats. They root for the team. And if the team wins, great. And if the team doesn't win, oh well.
Well, the other Washington team last night, they should have told somebody in the maintenance department at the Verizon Center to take the lid off the basket. That was a brutal game last night. But it was only, I have to tell you, that's the first bad game the Wizards have had in the playoffs. But had a chance to really take control of the series, and now they're back pretty much even as far as the home court. They lost it back to Indiana. But that was a brutal game last night.
I think Mason said, what Mason say, Tish?
What did he say? They just couldn't shoot?
They just couldn't shoot.
They just couldn't shoot.
That was it.
Couldn't put the ball in the ocean last night.
And, whether they took the lids off or not, they have to repaint the rims because they chipped all the paint off of them.
I don't. Bricks. I mean,
yeah.
You got their union card and be out in the construction work today.
They missed a lot of open shots. It's not that they say the Pacers defense was tremendous last night. I don't know. I saw Nene step inside the arc, miss a shot he usually make. Gortat, same shot, missed it. They've been making those. If you make those shots, you can't sit in the lane all night and block layup attempts. You have to come out and cover them, or the Wizards will beat you. So if you can get Nene and Gortat to make their 15-foot jump shots, which they usually do, it's a whole different ball game. And now it's almost the season comes down to, is it Monday night? Sunday night. 8 o'clock Sunday night. If you go down 3-1, it's an awfully young team. I'm not sure they come back against the Pacers.
Not many teams come back 3-1, but I think that they'll be okay.
Oh,
again, you can't play well every game, and they played very, very well up till last night.
They did, and even if this doesn't work out, it's still been a great season.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it probably got Whitman in another contract, which. It's it's amazing how long they were bad, and then here they are, the guys like their contract's ending, and all of a sudden, hey, look at us.
Yeah,
we're in the playoffs. Where's that new contract? Where's that raise?
Oh boy, the Verizon Center finally feels like a home court to me. They've been there since 1998, and I guess because they haven't really been any good, it doesn't seem to be that snake pit that you want it to be. Over the past couple of weeks in the playoffs, the fans have showed up. People have been waiting for this team to win for a long time. So I'm happy to see that it's starting to take traction. The one thing I don't like is it seems like half of DC's running around going, oh, my Wizards. You're Wizards. You haven't been to a game since 1978. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's always bandwagon fans.
Well,
that wagon is getting bigger and bigger. It's becoming like a super bus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've actually had season tickets to the Wizards. I stopped going. I had to pick one thing over the other. So I sort of kept the Caps. I kept the Terps and the Redskins, but I've pretty much passed on baseball and pro basketball for a while. But it looks like a heck of a lot of fun, and that's the one thing I've heard from people a little more level-headed is this is a team, other than last night, it's been a lot of fun to watch.
They share the ball. They play D. They can run. They are a very, very enjoyable team to watch. There's no question about it. There's 4 or 5 guys that can usually take over a game. You say you're not dependent upon one guy, and if the one guy's not hitting his shots, then you're kind of dead in the water. And there's veterans that like Gooden, who had a great game in the opening game against Indiana, and it's a good mix of players. And again, you see it sharing the ball, which is something the Terps, I hope, learn something from the Wizards this year, because talking about snake pits and home court advantage, it seems like that's, you remember Maryland and Comcast and Cole, but it hasn't been that way the last couple of years, and hopefully that can turn around for the Terps this year.
And that's what we're left with this is hope. You hope it works out. You bring in 5 freshmen, and they might all have to play, and you hope it works out. But you also get the feeling that if it doesn't, it's sort of your last chance with this gang. They might have to go for a change in administration if you can't get this to work out. Big Ten basketball is a tough league, isn't it, Tish?
Yeah, it is. But first, Turgeon is still being quiet. He hasn't said anything to why these kids are leaving. Is more or less what I'm waiting for. Why are all these kids jumping ship?
He hasn't said.
The one thing that Anderson mentioned was, and a couple of people have said, that it's a trend in college. These kids transfer high schools a lot and college a lot. There's, I think we spoke last week, 450 kids on the transfer list, but there's 340 schools. So
we're over 500.
You're talking about, a little bit more than one player per average per team. When you have 4 guys and possibly a 5th, plus your top assistant, who a lot of people feel took a lateral move or maybe even a lesser move position at BC, that's a problem. That's not from the trend of transferring. There's a deeper problem as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I ran track at Ohio State. Of course, when kids are doing bad, they want to jump ship. I understand that. I really don't understand that reason, because I did bad sometimes and I still stayed all 4 years. But when you have more than one kid leaving a program, you cannot look at the kids anymore. You have to start looking at the coach. You have to start talking to these kids and saying, hey, what happened that, and I've heard things about, okay, the kids coming in may be the influence of why you have the Seth Allens leaving. But if that's the case, there's a deeper problem.
There's a deeper problem.
Yeah.
If you're talking about running track and saying these kids are either running to get on the bandwagon out of College Park, or
they're running off the track at this point. They're getting away.
I end up being the guy going, hey, this guy, I still think this guy can coach. It just hasn't been translating to the kids that he's had. And I've heard the stories of he calls a play in the huddle, the kids go out on the floor and they do something different. He tells them to press, they go out and play man-to-man.
Well, if you have 1 or 2 kids not listening or just don't comprehend, you could say, it's the kids. But when you have like the entire team, and it seems this in the last couple of years, there's something. Even if it were each kid was stupid, which they're not. These kids playing basketball their whole lives. You recruited these players. How can you recruit 10 guys that nobody listens?
That means it's the message. I agree with you.
Right.
It's the message.
I know I've taken golf lessons from many people, and a lot of teachers have one way of teaching a particular point of the swing, and if you don't get it, you're stuck. And then I finally found a guy that was able to. Well, if you couldn't do it this way, here, try this way. So he had 3 or 4 different ways of getting the same message across.
Okay, if anybody wants to get golf lessons from Freddie, he is ready to teach him. He's down in sunny.
It's 85 degrees here again today, and we'll be on the course soon. So, lace them up and come on down.
All right, well, go out, enjoy your corned beef sandwich or something, and play some golf with Freddie. It's still, as always, a big Terp weekend. Terps and Cornell, you got to get this win. Tillman's got to get the momentum back. Bruce thinks it's a year or 2 off. I think the Terps can do it this year. Trish, for a Buckeye, you did pretty well today.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on. Thank you to Alex.
Dot the I at the Ohio State-Maryland game.
I hope so. I'm going to run on the field. I may get carted off by security, but I'm going to run on the field and do it.
We're going to start up a bail fund next week for Tish. Thanks to Alex Lee from Rivals, and always Mason Viner, our intern. This is Wayne Viner for Bruce Posner. You've been listening to Viner Consulting Terp Talk on CBS Sports Radio 1580 in Washington, D.C.
Kelly, one of the most trusted names in benefits, now offers payroll. KTBS Payroll provides a payroll solution that utilizes their innovative technology for greater accuracy, administrative efficiency, and compliance with regulatory requirements, such as the new Patient Protection and Affordable Care Acts. KTBS Payroll features management tools, reports, and services that relieve you of the details while giving you better control, ensuring you remain in compliance. Call KTBS today at 888-882-1487 to learn more about their integrated solution for payroll and benefits through KTBS Payroll. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes is touching millions of lives, one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been helping coaches and athletes on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels to fulfill their God-given potential. FCA is the largest Christian sports organization in America and focuses on serving local communities by equipping, empowering, and encouraging people to make a difference. To learn more about the FCA in your area, call Mark Stevens at 301-363-8611 or visit their website, metromdfca.org. Atman's Delicatessen has finally expanded into the Potomac area. Created originally in Baltimore in 1915, it's been a long time, but the best deli in the nation has come to the Washington area. Everyone is ecstatic that now you can find Atman's Deli at Tuckerman Lane in the Cabin John Shopping Center. Mark Atman, a tremendous Terp fan, brings his tremendous talents to the Washington area when it comes to delicatessen. Open from 8 to 8 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Atman's features its corned beef and pastrami, but certainly has all the great deli food available. Call 301-765-3354 for catering or to order ahead. That's Atman's Deli, 301-765-3354 in the Cabin John Shopping Center. Viner Consulting helps you get the most out of your business technology. We develop a technology plan for your business. There is much more than the run-of-the-mill break and fix service you are probably used to getting from your local IT tech. This is a real plan to move you forward, to bring in the latest technology at the best prices, strong support services, and a vision to lay out where you want your company to be down the road. And best of all, the plan is free to your company. Let us come and help you build your future today. Viner Consulting is a proud Microsoft partner, a Lenovo partner, and an HP partner. Conveniently based in Rockville, we service the Baltimore, Washington area. You can reach us at 240-599-0140 or on the web at www.vinerconsulting.com.
Access Title Company, LLC, brings to you experience, relationship, and peace of mind. All great reasons to choose Access Title Company as your residential and commercial real estate settlement company. Choosing a reputable, experienced title company is crucial to a smooth settlement process. Our staff of attorneys and experienced personnel is committed to helping you through the complete process with personal attention, competitive rates, and prompt service. Access Title Company goes anywhere in the state of Maryland to perform your settlement at no additional cost to you. That's why we're Access Title. Please call Melanie, our operations manager, at 410-363-8785 for additional information. That's Access Title Company at 410-363-8785.